Now let's say I wanted to throw a reunion party to my friends. Now what did the shopkeeper do? Shopkeeper started stacking one photo frame on top of the other, right? So if I want to move this 10 integer values from one method to another method, so it would be easier for me to do it via a collection. Whenever you need to think in terms of collections, think of a cardboard box in which we are adding items. Hi all, welcome back to this video series, Learning Apex the Fun Way. In this video, we'll understand what exactly the collections are, when to use them, what kind of a collections that we have, and what is the syntax of it. In case if you are joining in new, feel free to check out the previous videos that we have uploaded under this playlist, Learning Apex the Fun Way. Now, what exactly is a collection? Collection to me is a variable which can hold similar data types. Now, you might ask me, we have already looked at a couple of data types, and what is the need of this collection now? We have seen so many data types like integer, we have looked at boolean, we have looked at long, we have looked at string. So now what is this collection? Now, to understand this point, let's go ahead with a simple example, just like how we do for the other exercises. We'll understand this basic concept first, what would be the need of this collection, and then we'll understand what exactly the application of this collection in our programming language. Now let's say I wanted to throw a reunion party to my friends and I would like to invite them. So to this party, I've made all the arrangements. But what I've decided lately is I want to give them a memory pack so that they can release this party once they go back. The idea of this return gift is to basically get a photo group photo and put that in a photo frame and gift it to the friends who are visiting the reunion part. Now, I went to the shopkeeper and asked for the photo frames so that I can put this photo that I have got. Shopkeeper asked me how many photo frames do I need. So I've replied him saying that I want 20 photo frames. So I'm expecting 20 friends to attend this reunion party. So I've asked them to give me 20 photos. Now the shopkeeper has asked me for any photocopy that you have so that we can put it inside this photo frame and pack them. So I've gave them the 20 copies that I have with me. He has added the photo inside this photo frame. Now I asked them to put that in a cardboard box so that it would not be broken while transport. And I've also asked them to gift wrap. They have gift wrapped this photo frame that I have and they have prepared 20 such gift items. Now they have simply handed over to me this 20 photo frames that are packed properly. Now comes the challenge where in which I need to take this 20 photo frames from the shop to my home without dropping. Now imagine the circus that I would be doing if I am carrying 20 photo frames in my two hands and that too I have to drive back to my home on a bike. I've asked the shopkeeper to basically place them in this cardboard box. So instead of taking them one by one and balancing them, because the balancing act is important if I'm stacking every photo frame on one top of the other. So it would be difficult for me to take them home. So instead, what I've asked the shopkeeper to place these photo frames in a cardboard box so that way I get the protection. I have an option to carry them without have to worry them that I need to balance this 20 photo frame. So if it is in a cardboard box, I do not have to worry about whether they would fall or not. All I need to worry about is carrying this cardboard box. Now, what did the shopkeeper do? Shopkeeper started stacking one photo frame on top of the other. So remember, we have a cardboard box inside which we have a photo frame. So they are stacked in this cardboard. Now, in scenario one, if I have to balance this 20 photo frames without a cardboard box, imagine the balancing act and the circus that I need to do. In scenario two, the shopkeeper has placed this all photo frames in a cardboard box and he has made sure that it is tied intact. Now, if I have to compare the circus that I need to do in option one and option two, pretty much the amount of circus that I need to do to carry this photo frames to my home would be very much less in this second scenario. So now if you see here, while carrying these photo frames, if I can put every photo frame that I need to carry within a cardboard box, it is very much easier for me to take it from one place to another place. So if you have understood this concept, you have pretty much understood the concept of collection. Now if you see here, this cardboard box is a collection. So now if you see, collection is a variable which can hold similar data type. Now if you see here this definition and compare what exactly we have done, we have photo frame 1, we have photo frame 2, we have photo frame 3, photo frame 4, so on till photo frame 20. Inside this cardboard box, we have 20 photo frames right? So if you see here, we have same photo frames that are stacked one on top of the other, and we are putting them all these photo frames inside a cardboard box. So that is why I'm calling it as collection. If you have understood this concept, you have pretty much understood the collection concept as now. Do we have photo frames and a cardboard box in our memory block? The answer is no. So in our programming language, we do not have cardboard boxes, we do not have photo frames. So what we would have? We would have variables, and we need to have a data type that needs to be defined so that we can tell the Salesforce that this is the data type that I'm using to hold on to a value for some. So let's understand the collection in terms of programming language. Same requirement. Let's say if I have to carry 10 integer variables from one place to another. As of now, we have not understood the process of taking your variables from one place to another place. For time being, think there is a requirement where you need to pass 10 integer variables to another method. Now, is it easy for us to carry these variables individually, just like how we have discussed scenario 1 and scenario 2? It is pretty much the same case in our programming language also. Instead of carrying them one by one, we could have used a cardboard box while transporting this photo frames from one place to another place. We'll deploy the same strategy here in moving these 10 values from one place to another place, right? Do not worry about what exactly this place is. I'm taking that as a reference to help you understand this point. So as in when we go further in our course, we'll understand what exactly this place that I'm calling about. Think of this scenario as moving 10 integer values from one method to another method. That could be a requirement. I'm referring to the method as a place here. Just make sure that you understand this point, right? So if I want to move this 10 integer values from one method to another method, so it would be easier for me to do it via a collection. Why? Because instead of carrying them one by one, I can club them, put that in a collection, that means in a container, and pass it to the another method or another place. All right. So now, how can we basically ask the system to create a collection? Now, unlike our cardboard box, our collection is dynamic. That means I can go ahead and create a collection and add values in it, and it would expand its size as and when it needs to. Whenever you need to think in terms of collections, think of a cardboard box in which we are adding items. If you see here, this cardboard box doesn't have any end here. I've wantedly made it like this just to help you understand this point, which says this collection is dynamic. It can increase its size or decrease its size depending on the items that we're adding inside it, right? So if I have a requirement where I need to add 10 items to this collection, I can go ahead and add these items one under the other. If I have to use this collection to only hold 2 values, this collection would reduce its size and it would hold only 2. If my requirement is to basically hold 3 items inside it, it would go ahead and expand its size to accommodate another one. So this is how your collection would expand or decrease its size depending on the number of items it is holding. All right. For time being, whenever you think of a collection, think of a cardboard box, and we'll correct this understanding as and when we move forward. Now, since we have understood what exactly is a collection, we have understood what is the need of a collection. Now we'll understand what are the types of collections that we have in our Apex language. In Apex language, we have 3 types of collections, one being list and the other one being set, and the third one we have is map. In case if you see here, we have only 2 written here. Do not worry, we have the third map in our next slide. So if you see here, our first type of a collection, which is list, has an ability to allow duplicates. That means if there is a duplicate value within the collection of type list, this list would allow duplicates. So that means I can have same value added twice. The second type that we have in a collection, it has a feature which says it would not allow duplicates. That means every entry in my set would be of a unique value. So instead of saying no duplicates, you can also say that it allows only unique values in it, or it would hold only unique values in it. So that is the major difference that you see between your list and set. So list would allow duplicates and set would not allow duplicate. Or in short, set would allow unique values and list would allow duplicate values. Whenever it comes to list and set, think of a cardboard box and imagine the items that we are adding to it as a photo frame that we are adding into our cardboard box. So this is our first item or the first photo frame. This is our second photo frame, so on and so forth. So if you have 20 friends who are invited to the party, you will be taking 20 photo frames into this collection. If you are expecting only 10, the collection would reduce its size and it would only hold 10 values. So this is how the list and set would look like. Now, instead of going into the map, what we'll do is we'll understand the syntax of our list and set. Then we'll go to the third but not the least, which is map as a collection map.
Hey guys, if you like this video, do like, share and subscribe to SFTC Quest.